Chris,
Well, listen, Mark, listen, hold on. When I say, would you have caffeine today?
what the hell is that up to you out of this thing?
How much coffee did you drink before the show?
Listen, you can't polish a sneaker, right? throw tomatoes at me, do whatever you're going to do.
Welcome into Corso, the real deal New England feel. And God, it feels like we've been off, Mark, for about 2.5 months. But I'm back, joined as always by Mark Catone. Mark Catone, and your calls, chats, tweets. We want to hear from you. 855-313-PATS, 855-313-7287. And in the booth, as always, joining us is Joe Guarnieri. He's got us up on chat, live chat, tweet, call in. Mark, there's all sorts of ways for people to reach us now, isn't there? I mean, he's got us up and going.
Yeah.
And Mr. Catone, welcome back. Welcome back to both of you gentlemen. We're happy. We are finally back, and
it's our favorite time of the year, Chris. Yes.
Right. What does this mean, Mark? Tell the people what it means.
I think there's some kind of a brown ball that's going to start to be thrown around. I don't know.
I can't listen. It has to get going again, because if I watch any more episodes of Peyton's Place, which, by the way, is a fantastic, fantastic series, but talking about the history of the football and all, this is what it's come down to, Mark. Talking about these kinds of things. That's what I'm looking at.
I typically like to watch baseball, but the Yankees are just killing me. Oh, my God, they're killing me. I can't even
especially after yesterday.
Oh, it's absolutely awful.
Is he still the manager?
Yeah, I don't know. He's still the manager. How he's the manager, I don't know. That's a little. That's awful, awful. He is.
You got people. There's people in Boston that are basically calling for his out. Imagine. That's how bad Boone is right now. They got people in Boston saying he's got no business managing the Yankees.
Yeah, I don't know what Steinbrenner is waiting for, the kid. I have no idea what he's waiting for. And Cashman needs to go too. Cashman's done. The game's passed him by. This team he's put together, Chris, is a disgrace. But I know we're not on that segment yet, but it's a disgrace.
It's hard not to bring it up though, right? Plus, Joe's going to keep us in line anyway, because we've been away for so long. I don't know, Mark. We're going to be like all over the place. But let's get started with what our passion is, what we're hopeful. Training camp is opening up this week, Mark. Right? I think the first practices for New England kick off Wednesday. I want to say.
I think they're Wednesday.
Wednesday, right? And guess who reported?
He did. He's on the PUP list, but he reported.
So Gilmore reported.
He's on the PUP list.
Mark, what do you make of that? What are you making of that he's here now?
Well, first of all, he's here because I think he was going to lose like $50,000 a day. Not that that's a lot of money, but it adds up by the end of training camp if he blows off all the training camp, right? So that's number one. Number two, Chris, even if he doesn't want to play with New England and he wants to get himself traded, I think he's got to at least prove to teams that he's healthy, so somebody would be willing to give something up to get him, right? Because the bottom line is he wants one more payday, obviously, right? I think he would probably take a 1-year contract this year from us for more money. And then play it out and then see what he put up. And I think he'll have a strong year because let's face it, he's playing for a contract from somebody, right? So he's going to go out there and play his tail off this year because he's looking for a contract from somebody. This is his last payday. He's going to be 31 years old I think they said in August.
Historically, it's not, that's past the age that I would pay a corner.
I'm more interested in Chris why they're not going. Well, they're not trying to work something out with Jackson.
Well, you like to think that's on the back burner now. Like that's this whole Gilmore thing is taking front center stage. Mark, the other thing too is, and I agree with you. I mean, Jackson to me would be more. That's your future.
Well,
what is he? Jackson 24, 20. Right around there, 24, 25 years old.
Mid-20s. Yeah, he's entering his prime.
Undrafted. So there's still that taste, hopefully, that he has in his mouth of, the Patriots gave me the shot. They gave me the chance. So you would think they would want to be negotiating and working with him right now and looking at this Gilmore situation. But, Mark, once again, I hammered the flagship on all of this crap because you start and listen to this Gilmore stuff and you're like, well, I'm hearing things like, they did all these things they did in the offseason. Spent all this money, spent all Kraft's money, brought all these guys in, and now what? You're going to split hairs with your best player. Mark, is he their best player, though? Is Gilmore really their best player?
I don't know, Chris. Well, on the defensive side of the ball, or overall?
I mean, overall, they're talking about he's the best player. I don't think, unless I don't understand football anymore, what this guy brought to the table last season. He had an uneven season. Now you throw the injury on top of it.
And he's coming off a quad injury. I guess, Chris, if he's what he was 2 years ago, yeah, he's the best player on the team, right? But we don't know what we're going to get out of him. And I'm going to be honest with you, Chris. I honestly think, if they get something out of the quarterback position, I think you're going to see Hunter Henry catch like 80 balls, Chris. I just think he's going to be an unstoppable force in this offense. And Smith is going to help. Obviously, the other tight end, but I think Hunter Henry, Chris, is going to catch all kind of balls.
Right, and so then it's right. So you're looking at those two guys. Yeah, it is a huge if. I know we're gonna get to that in a second, but so there's those two guys, and then you get the guy on the other side of the ball. Okay, they're big.
Well, Hightower's I think, but I also I know he is Judon Smith, but I still think Hightower, Chris, is the glue of this defense.
Yeah, definitely glue. But I'm saying just from a talent standpoint, just from who's your best player, yeah, I guess it's easy to say, Gilmore has to be, right? Gilmore's easily their best player on defense. He's their best player on defense. I think people say that. I hear Perry's and I hear the Perry's of the world, and I even hear Breer, and I hear these guys just throwing that out there like it's an automatic that Stephon Gilmore is the best. He's the best player on this team. I don't know that I see that right now, and I don't know that Belichick sees that, and that's probably why they're either waiting on this injury. I think they know what they have with the injury. I'm pretty sure they do, of the extent of this thing. But I honestly think Belichick and company is sitting back there saying, yeah, we spent a ton of money, in this offseason. That doesn't mean we're just going to give it to Gilmore. Just give it to him and anoint him as 31-year-old best player on the team. I think there's something that has to be shown still. Don't you? This season coming up.
Even if he shows something this season, Chris, okay, so how much do you actually give him? How much can you extend him? He's going to be 32 years old next year, 32-year-old corner. They don't usually give you much. At a certain, they start to slide drastically. You can't give him a 4-year deal.
No, they didn't.
I think that's what he's looking for, Chris. 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, Slade. He's looking for the Darius Slade deal. And he's not going to get that, Mark. Revis didn't get it.
No.
Why is he going to get it?
Well, Revis did get money late. Revis did get money, that crazy money late from Cuckoo Clock. The Jets there from the Cuckoo Clock. Woody Johnson.
I mean from New England though.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. But I think Gilmore understands he has to produce and have a big year, Chris, if he wants to try to go have some crazy franchise give him a 4-year crazy deal at his age. He'll get somebody to give it to him if he can put up big numbers this year. It won't be us, I don't think, but he'll get somebody.
No, and I think the most he could hope for right now, and as you say, well, okay, he's in camp now, so he's reported, he's on the public, but he can come off that at any, off that at any minute, So then, where do you see it going then? Do you see them just giving him a straight bump, or do you think?
I think they'll give him a bump.
Incentive.
Well, between incentive,
you think it's just give them money?
Well, between incentive and bump, maybe some of it will be an incentive, right? They'll be locked into some incentives, but then some of it will be a bump. I think he'll end up somewhere around, potentially, if he gets everything that between the bump and between incentives, he'll end up somewhere maybe around 12, and I think he'll be happy with that, 11 or 12. He'll play the season out, and then that'll probably be it,
Yeah, I know these incentive things. Those are bad words for these guys. Some of these aging guys, hear the word incentive.
But I think he'll take their chance, because I don't think they're going to give him that guaranteed, Chris. They're not going to.
So we both agree then that trading him that's gone. That option's probably gone.
I think that option's probably gone right at this point. Unless
he's either playing for New England
unless you include him in a deal for one of your guys, like a Watson. They said today Watson wants to go, and they think the Texans want to send him. Now they want to send him out.
Yeah, where have I heard that before? Where have I heard that before? And you know what? That brings us perfect. We talk about Watson, and maybe there's a deal that still can be made.
And your other buddy wants to go out like Brady, Aaron Rodgers. So that means he wants out of Green Bay. Yeah, he wants some more.
You know what? That's another story we're going to get to right after our caller. But we got a caller in the air. Joe, who do we have? We have Al from Providence.
We have Al from Providence.
Al, welcome into.
Go ahead, Chris.
Al, out there. Welcome into Corso and Catone. Al, you're on.
Much, guys. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I just want to say,
Al from Providence, you're in. What do you got, Al? How you doing?
Hey, good. How you guys doing? I just want to say thank you very much for welcoming me on the show this evening. And I want to say you guys are doing a very, very bang-up job every week. I look forward to it. And we try to spread the word as well to talk about the great things that you guys like to talk about. I just wanted to call in today just a little bit to discuss a little bit about Tom Brady and his antics and what he's thinking about doing for the next season here, and being that he's not with the Patriots, with that divorce. I don't know. I just want to see, what can we do, for the future here with Brady, with his acts.
Well, Al, let me ask you, Al. You talk about Brady and his antics. Are you referring to his little performance over at the White House this past week? What do you?
Absolutely. Yep.
What are some of these antics that? What did you? Well, let me ask you. What did you like? Did you like the way that looked? What did you think about that?
I didn't like the way it looked. I got to be honest with you, Mr. Corso, because the fact is, he never pulled that kind of stunt. When he was with the Patriots. Why all of a sudden? With the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, now you decide that you feel that you need to discuss things in depth, and bring things to light, and you feel now you're a superstar. Yeah, I know 7 rings is a great thing, but you don't need to downgrade, what's happening with the whole NFL by being like a political person now. I mean, is he going to run for president next? Is that the next thing he's going to do? What do we think?
I don't know, Mark. I mean, what do would you vote for him? Would you vote for him if he was for president? Depending on would it depend on the uniform?
Yeah.
It
depends on the uniform, man.
Would you vote for the GOAT, or it depends on the uniform? I mean, what are we gonna do? But I think all in all, he was a little bit, greedy on the microphone there, and. Yeah, he could have done things a little bit better. That's all I want to say.
All right. Well, listen, Al, we definitely appreciate the call and and your thoughts on Tom Brady. And listen, Mark, he brings up a point that I've been hearing from a lot of people this week. And after Brady went down to the White House. Now, first of all, him going to the White House with the rest of the team, with the Tampa team, and wouldn't do that or didn't do that. The last couple of Super Bowls, with New England. I mean, Mark, you make anything of that? Just going in general?
Yeah, well, I think as our caller said, I think politically, he kind of, because of there was a lot of backlash around, at the time who the president was. I think he was just trying to, and there's a relationship between him, I think, and the former president. I think he was kind of trying to, distance himself from that, because he had caught a little bit of flack when they saw that "Make America Great Again" hat. Remember, in his locker. So yeah. I think he was kind of trying to distance himself from that when there was some bad press around that and all of that, right? So, I think that was purely the only reason why he didn't go to the White House, Chris. I don't think it was anything against the Patriots or Belichick. I just think he was trying to distance himself from any political controversy around,
like a lot of people were.
Like a lot of people were, right? And so I think that's what that was about. But I will say this, Chris. he's taking this whole persona of I'm the baddest MFer on the planet. And he's taking that to another level, especially now that he did what he did in Tampa. It's like, you know what? F all of you people out there, because I am the baddest man on the planet, and I slapped Mahomes around in a Super Bowl. So, and I've done it twice now to him. So, what are you going to say about me? So, I think now he's just lost control because no one in Tampa is going to keep him in check. He can do whatever he wants down there, Chris.
Anything,
right?
Anything.
You know,
so then is it a matter of, well, okay, like the caller points out, it just seems like there's a lot of people out there, at least in New England, that are looking at this guy saying, now, so you're just going to basically come right out and tell us it's all you. This is all you. That's it, man. It's all you. Look, it's a difficult thing to argue with. I mean, it's difficult to argue with this guy, but Chris, gotta piss you off a little.
It does, and until we win one without him, he can do that. But if we go out this year and win a Super Bowl, well, then I think he's got to shut his trap a little bit, because now, listen, Belichick did what you just did, pal. So guess what? Now you're not, you may not be the baddest man on the planet because we just won one without you. But if that's gonna happen, Chris, if that doesn't happen, if this guy, what happens if he goes back to back?
That's not gonna happen.
Oh,
he's not gonna go back to back.
Here we go.
He's not gonna go back to back. You know what? I'm back. Yeah, you know what? I got the COVID brain is gone for a second. That's it. We're back. Okay. Chris,
look, he's gonna go 15-2, and they're gonna roll.
You know what,
Chris? They're gonna go 15-2.
Nah, you know something. I'm glad the caller brought that up. I'm glad we got that call tonight, because it's just one. Look, I'm not taking anything. I'm tired of qualifying what I'm saying right now. I'm not qualifying what I'm saying anymore. I don't need to tell everybody that this guy's the GOAT. I don't need to tell everybody that he's a huge part of what took place here and all that. Do we need to keep saying that? Look, but to sit there and act like you're it. You're it. You're it. You're the reason. You're it. And listen, over the last 3 weeks, I watched a lot of stuff going back to 2000 and then some. Okay, I watched a lot of football, and I watched a lot of bad football by Mr. Brady too. Over the first few years of the Super Bowl run. Okay, and to act like right now, and I'm not saying he's saying this. Okay, but the result of him when he comes out on there and he goes out, and he takes the podium and he's the guy. For Darth Vader's a joke down there. That cartoon character, like you call him, that coach, he's got nothing. That guy, I don't even think, was he even there? Or was he in the background somewhere?
They propped him up they propped him up like Weekend at Bernie's. Somebody went like this with his hand.
Yeah. And I get it. That's Tom Brady's team. Got it. Understand. I get it. Tampa Bay Buccaneers are Tom Brady's team. Okay. But I'm sick and tired of hearing the narrative and the nonsense about, hey, it was all Brady here. That's it. It's a complete slap in the face to every other damn player that's come before. That's the Brewskis of the world and the Harrisons and the Seymours and these guys that made it go. Okay. These guys that won 21 in a row from 2003 to 2004, and yeah, and the Vinatieri's of the world kicking in 6 feet of
Chris,
snow.
Listen, Chris, listen, I don't think, but Chris, I don't think that he thinks that he was the reason why they won all those Super Bowls. I think I think that's part of the so-called flagship pushing that narrative. His narrative, Chris, I don't think is you won those Super Bowls because of me. He's now become his own personal brand of I'm the baddest MFer on the planet. I don't think he is, but I don't think he's taking a shot at New England saying you wouldn't have won those Super Bowls without me. He's just saying I'm the baddest MFer on the planet, and no matter where I go, my teams win. That's just, and I don't think that's necessarily a shot at New England. Maybe it's a little bit, but I think it's more. You people doubted me. I'm a bad MFer, and I won here, and I'm gonna win again. And I think that's just and that's his marketing, because this is the next phase of his career. You know what I mean?
I agree. No, I agree with that. But you know what, Mark? That goes
he always he's always acknowledged, Chris, that he played with some great players in New England. He always acknowledges that.
Yeah. So it's not really him that I have the problem with. It's not really him. And it's not him showing up to the White House, taking the podium himself, taking over that entire Tampa franchise. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't have a problem with that. You know what I mean? What I got a problem with is the morons that take all that information and they watch that and they look at that and then they turn around and say, Belichick had, nobody else here had anything to do with it. What the hell?
No, that's bullshit.
That's ignorant as far as I'm concerned. That's not understanding one damn thing that has to do.
Because, like I said, Chris, that's never come out of Brady's mouth ever.
No, but if you listen to if you listen to these fools, okay, up there, where you talk about the Amendola when they had all those stuff to say, they'll read everything that way. Yep. They'll read everything Brady does and everything. But yeah, he's promoting his brand and he's got every right to. The dude's got 7 rings, man.
Chris, can you imagine? And we don't know. And Chris, we don't know because we're up here. Can you imagine the money he must be making down there with his brand and TB12 and his product down there? I mean, we have no idea. The money he must be making down there, Chris, is ridiculous.
He found some cream that he could use from the sticks, the stalks over in the swamp lands over there in Florida.
He's down there with the fountain of youth. He's got the fountain of youth. Yeah.
Right. He's throwing footballs into the football machine. I saw that today.
Did you see
know what
that?
I mean?
Yeah.
I saw.
Yeah, he's just, he's
no God. Listen, God bless him.
And what makes it worse, Chris? What makes this worse is then we got the guy that throws the ball like this. This is what we got at starting quarterback. I think that makes it worse.
Do you make anything of the story that came out today where they're basically saying that some of the players in the locker room feel that, Cam isn't what he used to be. He's not what he used to be, and he's not, he's not the same player, which now, that throws the whole monkey wrench into he has the full support of the whole team now. Who's saying that then?
And Chris, do you think that came out because players saw what Mac Jones did in those camps? I'm not saying what those clips. I'm not talking about the clips they showed us on TV, on videos, what you saw on TV, on the computer and all that nonsense. I'm not talking about that. But did these players see something in Mac Jones in these camps to say, this kid should be the starting quarterback, not Cam Newton? Cam don't have it anymore. I don't know. Do you think that may have happened?
It could be, and it could have been, they talk about something that maybe the Patriots are floating, that Belichick had backed himself into a corner with Cam to such a degree that, that he's such a team guy and he wants to do right by him. And now maybe plant the seed. I don't know that New England would do that, though. I don't know that.
Well, the other thing is this, Chris. The other thing is this, though, Chris. Who was reporting that? Because if it's one of our guys, if it's one of Belichick's guys that's reporting it, he might have floated that out there.
I don't know. I mean, and listen, if that's the case, then that could be only to what you had said. And Mark had it called from months and months. Mark had this thing called about, once Mac Jones was drafted, that this is going to be the week 1 starter. Do you think it's going that? And by the way, and then that call before Joe kills me over here, that was sponsored by Mountain View Watch Home and Security, Scottsdale's leading home watch and security firm. That call, Al from Providence. So, Mark, I mean, do you think that the writing's on the wall and Belichick's looking for a reason then about Mac Jones, that he's going to be the week 1 guy?
Well, put it this way, Chris. Well, yeah, maybe. I'm going to be honest with you, Chris. If Newton goes out, he's going to get the one preseason game where he gets a lot of work, right? Typically, the starter gets one game, right? If he goes out there and looks like, like dog doo-doo, what do you do with him? And Mac, say hypothetically, Jones looks great out there. What the hell do you do? Do you stick with Newton because he's your guy? I don't know. Can they afford to do that, Chris? After the season they had last year and the money they spent in the offseason, can he afford to give Newton 2 or 3 games to fall on his face and then pull him? Can he afford to do that and not do it week 1? I don't know. Or maybe Newton goes out and goes 3-0. But I'm just saying, say Newton doesn't look good in training camp. Can Belichick afford to give him 2 or 3 games to maybe look bad and go 1-2 and then say, okay, now I got to pull him?
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
The problem becomes, once you hit the Mac Jones button,
it's it.
You're committed. You're committed.
That's it.
I mean, you're not going to put this kid Mac Jones out there and pull that trigger at some point. That's why I say if Belichick is going to start Cam Newton, he's going to give him every leeway. This guy's going to get every chance, every possible chance there is, because once that's pulled, there's no going back. The season's the season now. And so if both of them aren't playing, that's the other thing too, Mark.
That's true, Chris.
So, and we're going to get the break, but do they carry 4 then, Mark? Who's on this roster then?
Chris, it wouldn't surprise me if Stidham shows a little bit in camp, if they trade him for a 5th, 6th round pick and Hoyer's your 3rd string quarterback.
I can't even imagine
just to keep Hoyer on the roster to Tudor Jones.
You can't carry 4.
No, that's what I'm saying. Stidham would go. Stidham, maybe you try to get something for him if he shows something, Chris, in a couple of preseason games. Maybe he flashes something and you get a 6th round pick for him, something. 5th, maybe it's, I don't know.
Yeah, because the fact that he's still on this roster right now, I mean, why isn't he gone?
Who?
Right now. Stidham. Why isn't he gone?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Stidham has no shot of being the starter, Chris. Let's face it. So my guess is, Chris, they want to see if he could show a little something in training camp, maybe, and get something for him. Is my thought process around that.
Well, all that's going to play out, Mark. All that's going to play out more, and not to add fuel to the fire, but we've been talking about it for months and months and months. I've been talking about who do we want? Trade for. And now Houston's taking offers.
Yeah.
Now Houston's taking offers.
Yeah, I think I think it might be too late for that now. Belichick wasted a 1st round pick on this kid Jones. I don't think he trades for a quarterback.
Matt, he would have to be included in the offer.
Well, Matt
Jones would have to be included in that offer.
That's a good point, Chris. Jones would have to go in the offer to somebody.
If you got a guy like doing that.
Oh no, I don't either. If you got a guy like Watson, then Jones would have to go in the offer. You're right, and you would have to give them their quarterback of the future, assuming they think it could be Mac Jones.
Yeah, and a lot of people around here are crying for Aaron Rodgers. Make a trade. That's
Aaron Rodgers
unrealistic.
Is not realistic.
That's never going to happen.
No, not getting him.
Today, I heard today that they're working, putting the touches on the next deal over there, and then Devontae Adams, they'll all fall in line over there as soon as Rodgers signs. But the Watson, that's very intriguing to me, Mark.
That's very intriguing. Watson is a wild card.
Even with my COVID brain, that's very intriguing for me. To me,
that's been intriguing to you from day one.
I would do it in a second.
Yes,
I would do it in a second.
I know you would.
And he's probably headed. He may be headed for the commissioner's list, right?
Yeah, probably. I'm guessing he may be. Yeah, he may be. Yeah.
We'll see how this plays out.
You trade for him. You're right. You don't have him probably for at least half the season.
Well, you got the guy that you thought you were going to have. Yeah, you got Cam Newton who can't throw the ball anymore.
You got Cam Newton, yeah. Yep.
So when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit of Celtics basketball. We're going to talk a little bit of Olympic basketball, and I'm going to give you a few little things that I have seen.
And by the way, Olympic basketball, I'm going to be all over you, Mr. Corso, because that Olympic basketball team proves my point from months ago that I brought up about this league and what it's like today. When you chastise Jordan for the 5 guys he would take and take on anybody with them, you wanted these stiffs from this era.
And I was going to give Mr. Catone all sorts of props on the other side. Now, I don't know about that. We're going to have to see. That and more on the other side. More Corso and Catone.
Mark, I'm serious. I think I lost my mind.
Certainly, it was an exciting show.
I want Murray.
That's
it.
What is wrong with you?
Get him on this damn show.
You lost your mind tonight.
That's all I have to say.
Lost your mind.
What are you writing now?
So I'm working over here. You're talking about nonsense. I'm working.
That's why we are the real deal New England Field. It's going to be real.
Back in with more Corso and Catone. And Mark, listen, on that front side, talking about football, of course, I love our passion. Training camp's coming up. We'll see what happens with the quarterback soon-to-be controversy that's probably heading New England's way. But, Mark, we got the Olympics going on right now, right? Over in Tokyo, the U.S. team collectively is there. I like the Olympics, you know? How do you feel about the Olympics, Mark?
I actually, Chris, believe it or not, like the Winter Olympics better. I like the hockey, right? I like this. I like skiing. I like some of that stuff. I mean, I like the swimming in the summer events. I mean, track and field is okay too, but I like the hockey in the Winter Olympics. You get all these all these countries together. I think it gets competitive, you know. With basketball, typically, maybe it'll be a little different this time around. Basketball, it's typically the United States just rolls over everybody. There's no competition, but that may be a little different this year, Chris.
It certainly looks that way. I'll tell you what, I was so aggravated. Listen, for those of you who don't know, okay, Mark and I were off. We've been off for the past 3 weeks, which was scheduled to be a 2-week hiatus. And then Mr. Corso here.
He wanted to go travel.
And I succumbed to the COVID bug, okay? I had COVID. I have it. You know, I'm getting through it. It's Mark, man, I'm telling you. Holy.
Who do you think you are?
He's got the COVID bug, everybody.
Yeah, nice. So you know what? Leave it to Chicho. You want me to sponsor? You want me to have that sponsored too? You want me to have that little segment sponsored by Special Sauce Podcast?
The whole show just to use that.
You know, listen, guys, and it was nasty. I have to tell you, I there was a point in time. It's basically using our little what we do here as a. It's sort of like the all-star game of sick. Okay, that's about how I can describe it to anyone out there. It had it all. It had every type of thing you can think of: the chills, the cold, the headache, the body ache, the chest. It felt like it felt like Mark was sitting on my chest for about 2 weeks, you know, and the breathing, and it had it all. I mean, it didn't disappoint. That's for
I'm going crazy with the voiceovers here.
Right. And you know, and it didn't disappoint, and that's why we were off for the extra week. So I appreciate everybody's patience and letting me come back on, and hopefully stronger and better. And so it's a real thing out there, people. Get your vaccinations. You know,
serious thing.
Everything they talk about doing, make sure you do. Joe had some real good things he helped me out with, some nice protein shakes and things like that he sent me the recipe over. Mark could care less. He didn't even check on me at all.
Listen, I told him to have a glass of bourbon and wake up.
He just wouldn't have woken up in this world. He would have woken up in somewhere else.
Yeah, hey, I'll tell you what, there were times where I felt like I was on a different planet, you know, but here I am, back strong, ready to go. Mark, I'll tell you though, looking at the Olympics, I was so excited. I was watching the opening, the opening ceremonies, and I have to get on my soapbox about this. I'm sorry, you know. And yeah, by the way, this segment is sponsored by Special Sauce Podcast. Log on, specialsaucepodcast.com. Take a look at all of the good podcasts. Looks like we got a new spot for them, Joe, out there today on our commercial break. So check them out. This is sponsored by them. But yeah, I have to get pissed off now. I have to get pissed off. Look,
yeah, boy.
I'm as non-political as anybody you're gonna find. Okay, I really don't. You know, everybody's got an axe to grind about this or that or the other thing, and they have certain views and opinions about what they do and should do, and socially and economically and whatever else there is. But Mark, when it comes to the Olympics, okay, the Olympics are about what? Are about countries. They're about the world coming together in competition, in sportsman competition, amateur competitions for the most part, right? But it's the brand. And what's the brand? The brand is your country.
Yeah,
that's your brand. I mean, that's what everybody's wearing. And you go through all the opening ceremonies, and those kids coming out for those little countries, those little small places. There's maybe 2 of them coming walking in, as proud as you can possibly be, to be wearing the colors of their country, coming out, waving the banners, waving the little flags, and just happy as hell to be there, right, Mark? So why can't things be put aside for that purpose?
Well, what do you mean by that?
Well, like I see what I see is our Olympic soccer team, taking a knee for the national anthem. And again, I'm not commenting on, these social issues, the things that have come up over the last couple of years that, they're using their platform to raise awareness about this or that. That's fine. I mean, but now you're on the Olympic stage, okay? You're representing your country. It's not your right. I mean, it's not your God-given right to walk into that stadium, is it? Did I miss something? Or were you not selected to walk into that stadium to bear the colors of your country? At least that's what you're there for. That's the whole point. The whole point is it's a competition among the world, and it's time to put the domestic issues aside, okay, to come walking in, compete for a common goal, and that is the United States of America, for us to maybe be better and edge out you, Australia, on this particular day, or you, Great Britain, or you, this one or that one. And you're there to do that. And some, you don't want to carry the little flag, the American flag. I mean, it's plastered all over your person.
So you're saying that's, your views are your views, and if you want to take that up again when the Olympics are over, you should. But for this 2-week time period, you're saying let's band together, be part of this great thing called the Olympics, and be proud that you represent the United States. And then, when it's over, you want to go back to doing your, kneeling or doing whatever you're doing to represent what you feel has been, some kind of unjust thing that's been done in this country. That's fine. So that's basically what you're saying, Chris. And I guess, that's totally justifiable and understandable. But that's unfortunately, Chris, that's not what that's not what this things are not the same. This isn't, 1980 when the Olympic hockey team won the gold medal. And the entire country was watching, I think, that gold medal game against Finland, Chris, after we beat the Russians. I think the entire country was watching that gold medal game, and so but it's not the same anymore.
I get agitated about it. And again, understand, I'm not commenting on the issue. Whatever the underlying issue is, I'm not commenting on that. I'm not saying you're wrong, you're right, you should feel the way you do or you shouldn't feel the way you do. What I'm saying is, like what you just said, is we're putting that aside for 16 days, and we're bearing the colors of our country. Yeah. That's the purpose. The purpose of a National Football League game isn't the national anthem. That's not the purpose. So you're using that platform, your work. That's your job. That's your work. You come to work as an NFL football player. So if you're using your job and your work as a platform to talk about some other things and things you want to do, that day isn't about specifically about the national anthem. I get it. But these events are, Mark. These events are about your national anthem. These events are about your flag. God damn it, Mark. It's plastered all over their body. Yeah. Every piece of clothing everybody's wearing from these countries bears the colors of their country. I mean, so to me, if you're not going to rise to that, to stand next to your fellow American who's competing with you to down and beat the crap out of some other country, okay, and in pole vaulting, then maybe you should step aside and let somebody else in.
No,
you know what I mean?
I know. I get it.
Opinion, and maybe that's not popular, but
all right. I get it.
So again, so when you take that to the next level of the competition now. So when you saw what happened with the men's basketball team, okay, the U.S. men's basketball team, and that was a tough watch. I don't know if you watched that whole game.
No, I watched it.
That was tough to watch, Mark.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Why? Chris, why is that happening?
Chris, I think the NBA in general is tough to watch, but that's just the nature of the sport now. But if you noticed, Chris, in the games that we've lost, even in the warm-up games, they've been out physicaled. teams of if the international play is different, Chris, than the NBA. You don't necessarily get the spacing and there's more team passing and cuts and called plays and designed plays for some of these foreign teams. They play a different type of basketball. So I think the United States is because of the brand of basketball they play now in the NBA, they're at a disadvantage, believe it or not, in this international play. And you could see that quite clearly the last couple of, the game against France and the game they played against Nigeria. You really could see it. I was like, oh my God, what is this? Like they looked awful.
It's as if, Mark, you have to have a plan now.
Yeah,
you actually have to have.
Now you have to have a plan. Yeah,
you can't just roll your helmet out on the field, or so to speak, and expect to just, And I don't know, Mark. You've been talking about this for months, like 8 months now. You've been talking about this on the show about the landscape of basketball and the way things are now, and who's concerned about what are these guys actually concerned about. Are they worried about their brand? Are they worried about the sneaker deal? Or are they worried about the basketball? And it looks to me, when you look at this United States team, I'm sorry, I know that the playing field is a little more level, and you're going to get that narrative now. There's NBA players for the Celtics. There's France. Fournier, he scored
you had the guy from Utah. You had Rudy Gobert. You have, you got these NBA players now. The NBA's become a world game. So these guys don't represent the United States, obviously, right? And the best players in the NBA, don't get me wrong. Durant, yes, is one of the best players in the NBA, but the elite players in the NBA didn't necessarily go to the Olympics either, Chris.
No, but Mark, look, the way I see it is, it's such a. I don't care that there's 3 or 4 guys on each team that play in the NBA. It makes nothing to me. The bottom line is the United States men's basketball team, even though they don't have Steph Curry and these guys, some of these guys on the team, Harden and them, they're still the best collection of basketball players assembled right now.
Positively, they should be. They should be.
And just from a defensive standpoint alone, just their athleticism and how it relates to defense, just that alone should win the day, where they should be over there crushing teams just based on that. And the fact that where they should, to me, be ashamed, and Popovich should be, because, by the way, Greg Popovich, this is not his first go around and having a lay an egg over here on the international stage.
Popovich, I think, has trouble with the international stage, number one. And number two, Chris, maybe, don't get me wrong, he's one of the greatest coaches to coach in the NBA, but maybe it's starting to pass him by a little bit now, Chris. This type of player now, maybe, that's it now. Maybe it's time for Pop to call it a day.
All I can say is, down the stretch against France, okay, when things in the fourth quarter started to get away from them, they just kept shooting. Just shoot.
Well,
three-pointer. Somebody drive the goddamn lane. You know what I mean?
Chris, that's what they do. That is. Listen, I'm gonna say this. I don't know, for our loyal viewers, about a couple of months back when the NBA was going on, and we were talking about different things, and we got to talking about some of the great players that ever put on the sneakers, and I brought up a comment about Michael Jordan, and Michael Jordan said, pick 6 guys.
Let me have it, Mark. I deserve it.
6 guys that you'd go to war with, and he picked like Bird, Magic Johnson, Worthy, Olajuwon, I forget a couple other guys, and Chris said, yeah, but they played a different era, different rules, different this, different that. If you lined up LeBron and those guys, they could listen. They had a different mentality, Chris. They had a different set of skills. But the bottom line was those guys were lethal. They were warriors. They had balls. They'd run over you. They'd do what they had to do to win a basketball game. This generation has no idea how to play the game of basketball the way those guys know how to play it. And if they suited each other up, Michael Jordan is 100% right. He would put those 7 guys on the floor, and nobody from this, maybe they'd win a game if they had Kobe out there, but God rest his soul, he's gone. Those guys couldn't beat those guys. They wouldn't beat them, Chris. They wouldn't even know how to play them. They wouldn't beat them.
Mark, I gotta
Those
defer to
guys
you,
would
and I agree
those
with
guys would adjust to any era. Those guys, Chris, would adjust to any era of basketball because they were all-time greats. These guys, Kevin Durant's a punk. He's another punk. Kyrie, and these guys, yeah, they're great basketball players, but they don't have what these other guys had, an intangible that these guys don't understand and don't. LeBron's got the intangible, Chris. I'll give it to him. I think he's a crybaby, but I'll give it to him. He's got it. And he might be the only one in this era, Chris, that's got it. I mean, Kobe had it, obviously, right? But who else has it? Maybe Steph Curry, maybe?
I was just about to mention Curry, but yeah,
maybe?
Mark, you're right. Listen, I have no. Mark Catone is dead on. You're not going to hear me say this a shit ton on this show. But Mark, you are dead on accurate, 100%. Balls accurate on this, because you know something, I started thinking about the 1992 Dream Team.
Oh my God, Chris!
And I'm thinking to myself, what made that team what they are? What made that team what they are? Okay,
Larry Bird.
Yeah, but they didn't want to lose, Joe. They didn't want to lose a backyard game to their family. When Michael Jordan, okay, Olajuwon, you're talking about Malone, you talk about Stockton. These guys, Pippen, okay, Bird, Magic.
Like, they didn't want to lose a backyard game to their family members. You're right, Chris.
You step on a basketball court, and it didn't matter if they were playing their grandmother, okay? They weren't going to lose that game. They die out there before they lost that game. And when I looked at these
guys don't care.
I looked up and down that bench, okay, when they played France, and it was weird because I was watching the game, but then if you go to the Olympic channel, there's like an Olympic channel. They had already showed it already happened. You know what I mean? Okay, so I see the score, and I'm watching the game, and I'm thinking, I'm having a relapse. Here we are. I'm having a relapse now. Now I've COVID's completely taken over my brain. This game already happened. Like what? And I'm watching, and I look at the.
And folks, if you're watching out there live, this is also a COVID
moment. Yes, he's had a relapse, Joe. Joe, come on, wake him up.
This is another COVID moment.
Well, so listen. All I know is that Chris had to agree with me tonight. Joe had to tonight.
Happened.
He doesn't even. Nobody can hear him.
Nobody can hear him. Joe, it might be a good time to go to break, because when we come back, I think we're going to talk a little baseball, right?
Yes, that's actually a perfect.
I think it's a perfect segue for a little break. Maybe Chris can fix his technical difficulties.
Sounds good to me. We're going to go to break right now.
Down the lineup.
It's that time again for a timeout for a message from one of our sponsors. No one ever thinks they will be in the need of a criminal or traffic lawyer, but things happen. Corso Law Group is Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm. Their 20-plus years experience and attention to detail has helped thousands of people all across this great country who found themselves in a situation in Arizona. So whether it's a traffic ticket or if you need reduced DUI or more serious issues, call or go online to CorsoLawGroup.com and talk with these expert attorneys who I know will help you. Corso Law Group.
I think we lost him. Oh, looks like he's back in town again.
Here we go. Joe, I think the COVID affected his computer equipment too.
Something's happened.
Something's going on over there.
Let's see what we got. Let me bring him back in here. There's
Chris, I think the COVID affected your computer equipment too.
It affected a lot of things. I'm telling you, this is the all-star of sick. It affected everything. My computers, my cameras.
Joe, are we in retrograde?
No, this time.
Don't get him started with that.
I taught Mark everything about retrograde. Man, finally. We're not in it, and this has been another COVID moment instead.
Okay.
This is what we're terming it now. From now on, these are all called. These are all COVID moments now.
Absolutely.
Then let's do it right. Let's do it right, Joe. That COVID moment was sponsored by Studio 42 Designs in North Providence, Rhode Island. That's Studio 42, the 4, the 2, designs.com for all your graphic designs needs. See Mary Ann at Studio 42 Designs. She will provide every COVID moment.
Here we go. Wonderful.
Design.
All right.
So we're back. I'm back. I'm sort of back. I mean, as back as anybody could possibly be, I guess. Right, guys? You know.
Chris, last week, my son, his good friend of his aunt has a very influential job with the Red Sox. She's I think she's like senior vice president. She works right under the president of the organization, Kennedy. So she got them his friend and a couple of his friends some real good tickets right behind the plate for the Yankee series. So what game are they at? They go to Thursday night's game.
Oof.
Right? 4 wild pitches later. Right? He was absolutely out of his mind on the way home. Out of his mind. Of course, he was there with all Red Sox fans. He was the only Yankee fan there, but he was completely out of his mind on the way home after that game.
Listen, I mean, and that's, I mean, that could be a segue into nothing better right now. We're talking about baseball because
it was awful.
Yeah, Mark. I mean, break this thing down. What the hell? Look. I mean, we're a New England deal. You know, the real deal, New England feel, and you know, hats off to the Red Sox and what they've been doing.
The Red Sox, though, don't they just have that feeling, Chris, that it's going to be one of those years again? It's just they're winning these games, they're pulling games out of their behinds. Yeah. It just feels like one of those years where they're going to go to the World Series. I don't know if they can. I don't think they can beat the National League. I still think when it's all over, the Dodgers will be there, and I don't think anybody can beat them. But it just feels like, Chris, doesn't it, one of those years that the Red Sox are just putting it all together again with a team that I still don't think is that good, but they're putting it together.
They need to fix their first base problem. They need to fix the issues. Yeah, they need to fix the issues they're having at first base. And I think, and I don't see a reason why they can't go get a guy like Rizzo.
Well, they said that they mentioned him today, and they said they also mentioned that the Padres may be willing to move Hosmer. And as a veteran, he could be somebody that could do well too for a team like the Red Sox or even the Yankees. But I mean, we're talking about the Red Sox first, so it just seems like one of those years again, Chris, for the Red Sox, doesn't it?
It does. It does, especially. And again, I know the Rizzo deal wouldn't be a Hein Bloom deal. That really wouldn't be his.
It wouldn't be one of his
sort of thing.
Yeah.
But they're and Mark, I got to tell you, I disagree with you with the National League. I think they can hang. I think they can hang with the National League, and I just think that Sale is on his way back. I think you make a move to improve yourself at first base, okay, and improve that bat and improve the first base in general. I mean, your son should be playing over there, but I think that if they make a move like that, and Sale, you can get something from Sale coming back. Yeah, Mark, I think they can compete with the National League too. And I honestly think, and you've said it, I've said it, we've been talking about this since the beginning, since they allowed him back into their house. Alex Cora, man. This dude,
he's just a dude can just
this is manager of the year as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Chris, absolutely. There's no one else that could win that award at this point. If they continue to do this for the rest of the season, he's got to get it. Has to get it.
Yeah, and as bad and as good as he is as bad as Aaron Boone is.
Chris, how does he have a job?
I mean, he never managed. He didn't manage his kids' team before. Then you're going to give him the reins to the New York Yankees. Listen, I told you today. I heard these things coming from the Boston people today. Okay, when you have Boston fans calling in and basically saying this is bad for baseball. Aaron Boone is bad. Aaron Boone having Aaron Boone as the Yankees manager is bad for the game. Can you imagine the Boston Red Sox fans out there? You in the New England Nation.
It's bad for the game. Imagine that.
That's how bad Aaron Boone is. You've gone so far past suck That the
Chris,
Boston
listen,
fans want you out too.
So, Chris, listen. So he mismanages the bullpen Thursday night, obviously,
Daily.
right? Okay, daily. But Thursday night was it was so badly mismanaged.
Your son must have been like,
oh, he was out of his mind.
He must have
it
been
was
just
so badly mismanaged Thursday night, right? But wait a minute now, Chris. So, but to the casual fan, he mismanaged the game Thursday night. But it started before that, Chris. So you're getting ready to play a 4-game series against the team you're chasing. Wednesday night, you're at home, you're playing the Phillies. Why are you using Chapman on Wednesday night when you got a 4-game series coming up against a team you're chasing? I don't care if you got a lead late against the Phillies. You could blow that game. They're not the team you're chasing. Bring in somebody else. Chapman needed to be ready to roll.
Well, because he didn't work.
The first game of that Red Sox series, I get he was struggling a little bit, but Chapman had to be ready to roll on Thursday night. And you used him, you wasted him on Tuesday and Wednesday in that Philadelphia series, in a 2-game series, mismanages the bullpen constantly. That was horrible what he did using Chapman up. And then yesterday, he brings Loizaga back after he used him Saturday. And in that situation, you needed a ground ball. Why don't you got Britton in? Bring Britton in. Like, he doesn't know what he's doing, Chris. He has no idea what he's doing. It's unbelievable.
No, I mean, you could sit there and say to yourself, well, okay, if he's looking, is he following the analytics too much, or is he following his gut too much? He doesn't know where I was
going to say, I don't even know if he's following analytics.
He's back and forth.
Yeah, he is.
In a minute, there's a minute you see the Chapman move, and you're thinking, okay, well, I mean, he's following some of that, and he, I may not agree with it, but then he turns around 2 days later, 3 days later, and he pulls a move like you're talking about, and it did. He needed to go 2 months ago.
Yeah, he did.
Okay,
listen,
he needed to go 2 months ago.
The old man must be. God rest his soul. He must be rolling over because he would have canned him, Chris. You're right. 2-3 months ago, he would have canned him.
Yeah, he has no business managing. He does no business managing the Bear League, let alone the New York Yankees.
Let alone one of the most the most prestigious franchise in the history of baseball. You're managing this team
of all sports,
the New York Yankees of all sports. You're managing the New York Yankees. Are you kidding me?
It's disgusting. It's getting to such a bad degree of just it's. He has to go. Cashman's going to go.
Well, Chris, you said a month ago, Cashman goes too. Cashman, that's a package deal. Cashman's going to go. He put this team together. He has to go too. There's no question. He has to go.
Alex Cora was sitting out there for anyone to have. What do you care? If you're the New York Yankees,
Chris, I don't think he was sitting out there. I think that was always a wink, wink when they suspended him for the year. You'll be back, and he was like, okay. Like I don't think he was ever out there. I think that was a wink deal when he just sat out for the year. That's my opinion.
It would have been a perfect time. It would have been the perfect time to come in and say, hey, you know what? Boston completely defaced you.
Yeah, it could have been. Yeah.
They could have suspended you, Alex. They could have suspended you and just put you on the shelf for a year, but no. They chose to fire you. Okay.
It's totally disgusting.
Come to New York.
This team is they've lost their way, Chris. The players, it looks like supposedly that there's animosity between him and Garrett Cole, and he's just, I think he's lost the clubhouse, Chris. He's got to go. He just has to. If they don't make the playoffs, Chris, even a wild card, I'm assuming the day after the season's over, he's fired. He has to be. I mean, come on, he's got to be fired.
Yeah, it's amazing to me. It's amazing to me that he's lasted as long as he has. And just in Cashman too. I mean, you can, like you say, he's not immune to this. I mean, this, you can't put a collection of bats together like that and have no other foundation, nothing behind it. Okay, nothing in roll. There's nobody for roll guys at all.
Chris, that stadium is meant for left-handed hitters. He's got none. He's got none. How do you put a team together in that stadium, Chris, and you don't have any left-handers that can hit?
A-Rod said that.
How do you do that, Chris?
It would have been nice if there was a left-handed hitter in this lineup somewhere.
How do you put that team together in that stadium and not have a left-handed hitter in the lineup? Cashman's going to go. Just for that alone, Chris, he's going to go. That's just common sense.
Again, I think I think the writing's clearly on the wall. If it should have been done already. But if you're a Red Sox fan,
the Red Sox fans are laughing at us.
You got to feel good right now.
The Red Sox fans are laughing at us. But the Red Sox fans got to feel great, Chris.
But they got to fix first base.
Yeah,
they have to. They have to fix that issue at first base. If they do that, they bring a guy. They can bring a guy in.
They bring a guy in like Rizzo, Chris. They could. Let me tell you something. Look out.
And I know he's not lighting it up right now.
But in this lineup,
he's a
in
rental.
that stadium, but Chris, he's a rental. But with that team in that stadium, he'll light it up.
Right, he's a guy that could catch fire right now.
He could,
okay, and like you say, he could be a rental. That's fine. But in their circumstance, in their situation, a rental, they're at that point. You're at a we can rent a guy point because we can make a run at this thing.
Yep, this is
But Mark, when you come to the New York Yankees, yeah, absolutely. You're coming into the Boston series. You're down 9? I think it was 9. Was it a 9 game?
Yeah,
it's 9 games. It's 9 games, but 9 games can become 5 quickly.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It cannot. And
total mismanagement. He's terrible. It's disgusting to even watch it because it's disgusting.
It is. So on the other side, when I want to get to break, I know I had some technical difficulties. We never really got to finish the segment talking about, finishing up on the basketball segment. There was a couple more points I wanted to make, Mark, as it relates to Tatum and what I saw on Sunday with the U.S. team and how it trickles down. And because now there's some stories again talking about, once again, the real deal New England field. This is where you want to listen first because Mark had it called talking about Beal. Okay. How long have you been talking about Beal, Mark?
Months.
Months and months and months, and now all of a sudden it's a story that's catching fire. So Joe, let's get the break, and we come back. We're going to finish that segment and get to our final thoughts.
Mark, I'm seriously. I think I lost my mind.
Certainly, it was an exciting show.
I want Murray.
What?
That's it.
What is wrong?
Get him on this damn show.
You lost your mind tonight.
That's all I have to say.
Lost your mind.
What are you writing now?
So I'm working over here. You're talking about nonsense. I'm working.
That's why we are the real deal New England field. It's going to be real.
Back in with more Corso and Catone, the real deal New England field, in this COVID-infested show that we have tonight, Mark. I'm like slowly it's getting out of my system. Slowly, I'm getting back to form, Mark. Getting back to form.
There you go.
I'm ready to put the pads on, get out into training camp. I think me out in the second.
Yeah, you need about 3 oxygen tanks,
right? And a stretcher close by. So. But no, before I had all kinds of problems.
Red Hots, just in case.
Yeah,
exactly. Red Hots. That's the breakfast of champions, right? The Red Hots. So, but before I had all kinds of technical problems and difficulties, we were talking about the Olympics. We were talking about the basketball, and how this NBA situation now is relating to the Olympics and what you're seeing. And I wanted to finish, and that was sponsored by Special Sauce Podcast. Again, the basketball segment, specialsaucepodcast.com. Joe, nice commercials, by the way. I like your new spot. Yeah, I really do.
A lot of work that takes there.
I really like that new spot. I'm going to tune in right after our show.
Yeah.
So, Mark, look, when I'm looking up and down that lineup, though, I'm going up and I see up and down the bench, guys are coming out. First of all, Draymond Green, I mean, how is he a starter on this team?
No, he's a role player, Chris, on his own team. Never mind an Olympic team. I don't know.
I mean, I saw him get a ton of minutes. Durant, and they're all sitting there by themselves, individually. Nobody's
It's
saying
not
a
a
word to
team.
each
Yeah, it's
other.
not a team. Well, Chris, it goes back to the whole thing. It's number one, it's not a team. Number two, they don't have that camaraderie and that whole
Bury
United
you.
States bury you.
Yeah.
It's just a collection of individuals going out there, and they don't get me wrong, they're representing their country. Don't get me wrong, and it is a sacrifice. That they've had a long NBA season. They're going out there and playing for their country. I get it, but they just this team's never gonna gel, Chris. If they win a gold medal, I'll be surprised because it'll be a struggle. They may win one. It'll be a struggle because they're just a collection of individuals who are going about their thing, but there's no cohesiveness, Chris. And I don't think you're going to ever get it. And now with this team, you're not going to get that. I mean, you may win, to your point, Chris, just because you still have enough collection of talent. They may still win a gold medal, but this team's never going to play as a team, like a collective team. It's not going to happen. You could see that, Chris. Like you said, they don't even talk to each other on the bench, for crying out loud.
It pisses me off. I'm not giving them any credit.
No.
I'm not giving you credit for getting on a plane and going to Tokyo and putting the red, white, and blue on. I'm not giving you any credit for doing that. What? Because it's your downtime? Or you're supposed to be what? You're taking from family time away so you can go represent your country? Oh, screw that. Get off your ass, get into Tokyo, become a basketball team. Remember what it was like to actually play basketball because you love this game, okay, and you want to win, and the colors mean something to you, okay? And having somebody else put a gold medal around their neck from another country should make you sick to your stomach, Devin Booker and Jason Tatum. It should make you sick to your stomach to have another team put a gold medal around their neck. What took place on that court, okay, on Sunday or Saturday or whatever day it was that they played, is disgusting. And guys like Kevin Durant and so-called leaders of this NBA and this organization, if I'm guys like Shaq and I'm guys like Kenny the Jet and Barkley over there, and they must be sick to their stomachs watching something like this. Yeah. Charles Barkley must be looking at this going, these guys should be friggin' ashamed of themselves with the way they behave and conducting themselves. It's not good enough that you got the best sneaker. You know what I mean? Nobody cares anymore. Put the basketball through the hoop. How about this, Mark? Drive the lane. Drive the lane. Get the ball. Kevin Durant got it on the top of the key when they were down 2 points. How about you go to the basket? They should be able to dunk. They should be able to go over anybody. This team, any member of that team should be able to go at anyone.
Chris, it's a different brand of basketball than what we grew up with.
Well, they should be ashamed of themselves. Mark, as it relates back to home, though. Then.
Yeah, as it relates to Tatum, Chris. So supposedly Boston is a preferred destination if Washington tries to move Beal, okay, and because he is friendly with Tatum. And Tatum has sold him on the idea that it's a good place to play basketball, which is a good thing, I guess, because we've caught some flack after the nonsense with Kyrie Irving. But anyway, I'm not going to get back into that. The issue was this, Chris, and I would do it in a minute. I think you'll have to give up Jaylen Brown. And I told you this many times, I have no problem giving up Jaylen Brown for Beal because I just think Brown and Tatum are too similar. You need an infusion of somebody else from the backcourt side to put with Tatum. Then you bring in another piece and you maybe some other role players. I mean, you saw what Milwaukee did. They had Giannis and a bunch of collective talent that could support Giannis, but they didn't have a big three. They won it,
Well, so again, I mean, because you've been talking about this for months and months, about this Beal situation, and I mean, you think that. And I heard the same thing, that Boston's a preferred destination, maybe Golden State.
Well, yeah, Golden State, yeah. Obviously, but I'm going to be honest
with you. But
it's
going to have to take Brown, though.
It's going to take Jaylen Brown to get him, and I'm okay with that, Chris. I said that, and I think you said you were okay with that.
Mark, I'm okay with it. And maybe this is just me being aggravated right now, and desperately wanting the training camp to open up right now. But I don't know if Jason Tatum's the guy that's going to get this done.
No, but I think he needs somebody to push him, and I think Bradley Beal will push him. He knows him. I think Beal would push him, and I think Beal would be the straw that stirs the drink, and Tatum will follow suit. And then you bring in a couple of other guys that can support them. That's what I think. I don't think Jaylen Brown's the straw that stirs the drink either, but I think Bradley Beal can be that guy. I do.
So do you feel like adding a Beal to this is that that alone doesn't get it done, but that maybe adds,
No,
that
but
maybe
it
allows
adds-
for the third piece.
It allows for another piece to come in, and help you and push you over. Yeah.
Well, okay, so, and this is something I've been wanting to ask you since this happened, since the Milwaukee Phoenix, because I thought Phoenix was going to win the series, and Milwaukee just,
Giannis willed him.
He did. I mean, you know what, Mark? What was beautiful about watching, and this is what I want your take on this. Why did they win that series? Why did this happen for Milwaukee?
Well, I mean, obviously, Chris, Giannis is one of the 5 best players right now, probably on the planet. I think he's in top 5. No, would you say no?
Absolutely,
he's top 5 player in the league, right? And Chris, he just willed them. He had one of those performances. He put them on his back. He scored 51 game, and he said, "Listen, I'm not going to be stopped." He was playing defense. He was rebounding. He was doing it all. The block he had, he just put them on his back and said, "Boys, follow. We're not losing this." He willed them to a championship, is what he did.
So when I look
do we have a player like that on our team right now? No, we do not.
That's what I'm saying.
No, we do not. We do not have that player that can will you to a championship right now. We don't have that on this team, no. And I think that's what you were getting at.
It is what I'm getting at, and the other part of that too, Mark, is. Not only do you not have a guy like that on the Celtics right now, a homegrown guy. See, what Giannis is getting a lot of props for. People are looking at, say, a guy like Durant, and they're saying, "Hey, Durant, that's great what you did in Golden State. You basically you were in Oklahoma, okay? You saw what was going on in California, and then you just went there and you became one of the pieces." To win and won it all.
LeBron's done that with 3 different franchises.
He's done it right. I mean, you can argue with LeBron that he's the
man. No, he's the guy. He did. He brought it. You're right. He did. But he is. But he brought guys with him to do it. That was my point.
Yeah, I mean, you had Draymond Green, you had Steph Curry, you already had, you had these guys, and Durant. Durant was a cog in that thing. But Giannis did it on his own, man. He got drafted by this team in a market that normally, Mark, you hear the storyline you're hearing out of Giannis is they lost him. Milwaukee lost him. They weren't able to keep him.
They kept him, and they won a championship.
And they kept him, and he decided that, you know what, I don't care about that. So does that change? We keep talking about the landscape of the NBA, right? To you, does that change it a little bit for you? Does it look like a guy like Middleton and Drew Holiday and the guys they put together and what's his name, the older guy there, PJ Taylor, Tucker, I mean, that they put these guys together and it reminded you a little bit more of what the Celtics were in 08?
Yeah, absolutely. They had Posey and those guys. Absolutely, Chris. Absolutely. They had role players, but they had a couple of superstars on the team, obviously. But they had role players. So you got Giannis, who's a top 5 player in the league, and you put players around them. You put role players around them that knew their roles, Chris, and played their roles perfectly. They knew their roles. They didn't try to go outside of their role. Where Marcus Smart thinks he's a scorer. He's not a scorer. He goes away from what he's good at. And so the Celtics don't have any of that. Milwaukee's players knew what they were good at, stayed in their roles, didn't deviate from those roles, and they won a championship. We don't have those players to put around anybody right now. We got to bring in those guys that know their roles to support, but you also need a Bradley Beal, I think.
And you know what, Mark? You need to draft better too.
Yeah, you do.
You got to draft better. I mean, look, you talk about Giannis. They drafted him.
Yeah.
So I mean, so they need to draft better. But the big problem is you got to find that Giannis. You thinking Tatum's that guy? Is he going to be that guy? Is he that? Does he have it inside?
I don't know, Chris. I don't know.
Not from what I saw on Sunday with the United States team.
No, me either.
So we'll see what happens. So listen, we're going to get to our final break, come back with our final thoughts. But I wanted to finish up with basketball and talk about how that translated to Celtics basketball with Jason Tatum, because he's one of those collections of stiff right now, as far as I'm concerned, that's on the U.S. men's team that's just sitting there with blank stares on their face while teams are rolling over them. So final thoughts after this.
Special Sauce Podcast. You lacking the sauce. The sauce is good. This is start off as finance. Kratos Custom and With your host,
It's that time again for a timeout for a message from one of our sponsors. No one ever thinks they will be in the need of a criminal or traffic lawyer, but things happen. Corso Law Group is Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm. Their 20-plus years experience and attention to detail has helped thousands of people all across this great country who found themselves in a situation in Arizona. So whether it's a traffic ticket or if you need reduced DUI or more serious issues, call or go online to CorsoLawGroup.com and talk with these expert attorneys who I know will help you. Corso Law Group.
Back in with more Corso and Catone, and Mark. It's that time again. We've pushed through to the final word of the show, and the final word tonight is brought to you by Corso Law Group, Arizona's leading criminal law firm. Allow us to be your voice. CorsoLawFirm.com. Mark, what do you got?
Since our caller brought up Tom Brady, I'll stick with that for my final comment, Chris. I can't wait to see the baddest man on the planet, week 4, and see what we can do. You know, what do we got? What does our team become leading up to facing the baddest man on the planet? Because, Chris, I'm telling you, he's going to want to come in here and just absolutely annihilate us. He's going to want to beat us by 6 touchdowns. That game and that place, I just can't wait. You'll be here with me. It's going to be an insane night. Insane. I can't wait for it.
Yeah, Mark, that's going to be a fun. That's going to be a fun
Right?
go that night. That really is. For me, listen, I talked about it a little bit in jest, a little tongue in cheek, about the COVID and getting the COVID and being sick over the last few weeks. Listen, my final word is this: get the vaccine, take care of what you need to take care of. Listen to your doctors out there. Do the social distance, the mask, protein. Take care of your bodies, because let me tell you something. That was not fun. It was a tough sickness to go through. It was a tough couple of weeks. Got through it fine. We'll be fine. No problems there. But it's a serious thing. We want to take it serious. We want everybody at these sporting events. We want to see Mark and you and everyone else out there at the Tampa game. And now that they're putting people back in these arenas and stadiums and things like that, let's all take care of each other. Let's be careful out there. Make sure that we're all healthy and we're safe and we're doing the things we know that we can do or should do in order to come together like that. And in moments like week 4 that Mark is pretty much all fired up for. So some people to thank, Joe and Mark tonight. Want to thank the good people over at Special Sauce Podcast. Log on, specialsaucepodcast.com. Also want to thank the people over at Jag Media Productions. Tune in. Everything you see here is part of their great work. So the Jag Media Productions. Studio 42 Designs in North Providence, Rhode Island. It's studio42designs.com, and it's a 4 and the 2, the actual numbers. So studio42designs.com for all your graphic design needs. Yes,
Chris,
Mark.
I'm looking at that jersey over your shoulder. Maybe you should put the creamsicle jersey underneath it.
Couldn't let it. You couldn't let one. He wasn't going to let one show pass, was he? Talking about that nonsense. We'll get into that next week when I'm a little more back on my game again.
Couldn't hold on, could you, Mark?
Couldn't hold on, could you, Mark? Corso Law Group, Arizona's leading criminal law firm. Allow us to be your voice. CorsoLawGroup.com and Mountain View Home Watch and Security, Scottsdale's leading home watch and security firm. Also want to thank, of course, our longtime producer, director, Joe. Way to patch it together tonight, Joe, under, once again, some difficult circumstances.
Under the COVID restraints.
So tune in next week. We'll back to our normal time. It's going to be Tuesday evenings, 8 p.m. Eastern, live. Training camp's going to be underway. We're going to have a lot of things to talk about, a lot of stuff, a lot of preview of the Pats Nation. Our post
We're getting close, Chris. We're getting close to Pats Nation.
Getting closer to the Pats Nation presented by Corso and Catone. So Mark and I are going to be with you every single Patriots game, every post-game show, breaking down all the game, the stats, everything, and it's going to be a lot of fireworks. I can already feel it coming. And so next week, 8 p.m. Eastern, we're going to get into training camp, talk about
Joe, you got to remind next week we got a funny plane story to tell.
Yes.
Next week we're gonna do Catone's comments. It's gonna be Catone and Corso's comments next week.
We'll call them the COVID comments next week.
Yes,
we almost got away with not mentioning it. So
that's next week. We gotta keep them. We're gonna keep them interested for next week, Chris.
So, I told people about it, so they are waiting to hear in this show, but I don't mind making them wait.
We're gonna wait. We're gonna wait one more week. Next week, we're gonna tell you a very funny story.
I don't know if they're going to be able to. Listen. I don't know how much show will be left after that. After we talk about the plane stories, but in any event, please tune in next week. Joe will have us up all week long on YouTube. Watch the show again. Chat in. We want to hear your tweets. Corso and Catone, tweet in. Let us know your thoughts on training camp and all the upcoming events for the NFL. And we'll get into baseball talk more next week. So for Mark Catone, Joe Guarnieri, I'm Chris Corso. So long, everyone.